Good morning, and welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Science and Technology. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, I am back with yet again another coronavirus slash COVID-19 related video here. And you know what's interesting is that I vowed earlier on when I started this channel that this would not become the official coronavirus channel. But it's just, what's happening right now. And it's impacting everything and everyone. And it's just what's happening right now. And news is unfolding every day. And I found an article recently, actually yesterday, from the Washington Post, which was published yesterday. And I think that it's worth covering here and capturing here. Now, interestingly, looking at this title, and I'm going to read the title. I'm going to read the title very, very quickly or shortly. But very soon on this channel, I'm planning to do something that's going to take us out of the coronavirus and the biomedical space and actually into outer space. So I'm planning to introduce something totally new for my channel, but not totally new for my life and for my background based upon some of the activities I've been involved in. But look for something really soon to that's going to break from the sandbox we've been in thus far on Big Discussions 76 Science and Technology. In any case, this article is entitled Russia Unveils Coronavirus Vaccine Sputnik V, claiming breakthrough in global race before final testing complete. So before I jump into this article, just keep in mind that there are multiple groups around the world working on this. So this isn't just something that we're looking at here in the United States. There are other countries working on this and trying to find a cure and a vaccine. Think of the movie. I think I used this analogy on a panel with Nicole Ali, and BGS a month or so ago. Think of the movie Twister, where multiple groups are chasing the tornado to get, the most up-to-date findings first. That's what this reminds me of, and that's what research is. And a lot of groups are quickly and vigilantly chasing this tornado to try to find the cure. And also, as I read through this, keep in mind that this is going to be these discussions are highly centered in immunology and virology. Okay, so that's the title, and this is dated August 11th, 2020. So this was published yesterday. And the authors are Isabel Kershudian, I think I pronounced that correctly, and Carolyn Y. Johnson. Okay, so Moscow. Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed Tuesday that Russian scientists achieved a breakthrough in the global vaccine race, announcing that the country has become the first to approve an experimental coronavirus vaccine and that his own daughter has already taken a dose. Interesting. Officials have pledged to administer the possible vaccine to millions of people this summer and fall, including tens of thousands of teachers and frontline healthcare workers in the coming weeks, before even finishing clinical trials. The formula was developed by the Gamaleya Institute in Moscow. Let's see. Now, I don't know. I'm not familiar with our Food and Drug Administration's protocols for this, but Russia seems to be accelerating their trial of their vaccine. So in terms of regulatory science and regulatory affairs and government policies and statutes, different countries can do things in different ways. But Russia's hard charge toward a potential vaccine has raised alarm among global health experts that the country is jumping dangerously ahead of critical large-scale testing that is essential to determine if a possible protection against the coronavirus is safe and effective. Few details of the Gamaleya research have been made public or have undergone peer review. So peer review is very, very important in science. Russia's health ministry did not respond to requests for comment, and the Gamaleya Institute referred an interview request to the ministry. Konstantin Chumakov, a member of the Global Virus Network and international coalition working on viral threats, said it is scientifically impossible to prove efficacy without widespread trials known as phase 3. Using it in general population before the results of phase 3 trials are fully studied is a gamble, he said. A Russian roulette, if you will. The Cold War namesake. So Sputnik V. That's a reference to, I believe, the space race between the United States and the former Soviet Union in the 1950s and 60s. The vaccine is named Sputnik V, a reference to the first orbital satellite, which was launched by the Soviet Union in 1957 and set off the global space race. The name also evokes how Putin's government has seen the vaccine race as a point of national pride and competition on a global scale, with labs in the United States, Europe, China, and elsewhere also in the hunt for a potential vaccine. Of course, what counts most is for us to be able to ensure the unconditional safety of the use of this vaccine and its efficiency in the future. I hope that this will be accomplished, Putin said at a meeting with government members on Tuesday, adding that one of his 2 daughters had received the potential Gamaleya vaccine. He did not identify which daughter. The aggressive strategy from a country eager to declare a victory amid one of the worst outbreaks in the world has been criticized by outside scientists who worry that shots could be harmful or give people a false sense of security about their immunity. China has already authorized one vaccine for use in its military ahead of definitive data that it is safe and effective. This is changing the rules. This is cutting corners, said J. Stephen Morris, Senior Vice President at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. It's a major development, and it starts with Putin. He needs a win. It's heartbreaking back to the Sputnik moment. It's hearkening back to the Sputnik moment, he added. It's harking back to the glory days of Russian science. It's putting the Russian propaganda machine into full gear. I think this could backfire. So this subsection is titled Race to be First. The international jockeying to find a vaccine has sharpened concerns about vaccine nationalism, in which countries need to declare victory over the pandemic could bypass long-standing safeguards to protect people from unproven medical products by ensuring that their benefits outweigh the risks. For Russia, leading the vaccine race is an avenue for greater geopolitical clout. But the country is also looking to avoid appearing dependent on Western powers, with whom relations are historically poor, analysts said. Last month, security officials from the United States, Britain, and Canada accused hackers linked to a Russian intelligence service of trying to steal information from researchers working to produce coronavirus vaccines in those countries. Russian officials denied that, and Kirill Dmitriev, head of the Russian Direct Investment Fund that bankrolled the country's vaccination effort, dismissed international scrutiny of Russia's own vaccine efforts as political. For countries, it's difficult to acknowledge that how is it possible that Russia, which has been always shown as this backward authoritarian country, can do this, Dmitriev said last week. Dmitriev said Russia has received preliminary applications for more than 1 billion doses of the vaccine from 20 countries and is prepared to manufacture more than 500 million doses of the vaccine per year in 5 countries. Russia's move could potentially increase political pressure on other countries to take a similar bet on an unproven vaccine. That's a huge concern because any adverse effects from the virus are far less likely to be transparently reported if it is given outside of a rigorous trial. There's also concern, Morrison said, that people will be coerced to take an unproven and potentially dangerous vaccine to keep their jobs. We're seeing in all countries the tension between the political need to demonstrate to the public you're doing something useful and the scientific hesitancy to only act when a vaccine is shown to be safe and effective, said Mark Poznansky, director of the Vaccine and Immunotherapy Center at Massachusetts General Hospital. So in terms of limited testing, at a congressional hearing this month, Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, testified that it would be problematic if countries made a vaccine available before extensive testing. I hoped that the Chinese and the Russians are actually testing the vaccine before they are administering the vaccine to anyone, because claims of having a vaccine ready to distribute before you do testing, I think, is problematic at best, Fauci said. Driven by the urgency of the pandemic, countries around the world are placing massive advance orders for vaccines and spending billions of dollars to help companies scale up production before they are proven safe and effective. The risk is mainly a financial one. If the vaccines do not succeed in large-scale clinical trials, they will not be used. The leading Russian vaccine candidate has so far been tested in small, early clinical trials designed to find the right dose and assess any safety concerns. It was given to scientists who developed it in self-experimentation that is unusual in modern science, as well as to 50 members of the Russian military and a handful of other volunteers. Dmitriev said Russia will go ahead with Phase 3, a larger trial involving thousands of participants normally considered as an essential precursor to receive regulatory approval. Parallel trials are planned in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and probably Brazil and the Philippines, he said. The southern Brazilian state of Paraná announced that it will begin producing the possible Russian vaccine in November. Russia also intends to start using the potential vaccine on willing frontline medical workers and teachers who will be asked to document how they're feeling. But while Russian officials have been reportedly assured that the vaccine is safe, Dmitriev was unable to say if it was tested on someone already infected with the coronavirus. Some vaccines, like the one developed for dengue fever and used in the Philippines, can make the disease more severe. We will have tens of thousands of people already vaccinated like this in August, Dmitriev said. The World Health Organization still lists the Gamaleya vaccine as being Phase 1. We are in close contact with Russian health authorities, and discussions are ongoing with respect to possible World Health Organization pre-qualification of the vaccine, WHO spokesman Tariq Yasserevich said at a briefing in Geneva. But again, he continued, pre-qualification of any vaccine includes the rigorous review and assessment of all required safety and efficacy data. So in terms of a lack of transparency, most of what outside scientists know about the experimental vaccine is from secondhand sources and not from published medical studies. Dmitriev acknowledged that while that may be unusual elsewhere, Russia is traditionally secretive in its scientific endeavors. The results from Phase 1 and 2 will be published at the end of this month, he said, adding that the delay came from waiting for formal registration. You have to think a little bit about the Russian system. After Sputnik was flying for 5 days, only on 5th day did Russia acknowledge that there is a satellite flying, he said. Russia's vaccine uses 2 doses to deliver harmless cold virus or viruses or adenoviruses that have been engineered to carry into cells the gene type for the spiky protein that studs the outside of the coronavirus. The approach was inspired by the Ebola vaccines Gamaleya developed in 2015 and 2018. But while Putin boasted earlier this year that Russia's Ebola vaccine proved to be the most effective in the world, the WHO still lists it as a candidate vaccine on its website. Adenoviruses are also being used by scientists at the pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson, the Chinese company CanSino Biologics, and the University of Oxford in their vaccine candidates. But those other efforts have published data on how vaccines perform in animals ranging from mice to monkeys, and also presented data from early human trials showing the severity of any reactions, ranging from soreness at the injection site to fevers. The CanSino vaccine uses one of the same harmless viruses the Russians are using in its vaccine, and its results have been disappointing to some scientists. Dmitriev said his personal confidence in Russia's vaccine was so high that his wife, and his parents, both over the age of 70, were test subjects. He said just his wife reported a mild fever the first night of injection. It's not some crazy Russians using some crazy, not proven stuff, Dmitriev said. Adenovirus existed with humans for thousands of years, and we made a bet on this proven platform because we understand that it takes very little time to develop given the challenges. Okay, so I'm going to leave that article in the description box below. I'm also going to leave my blog post on what regulatory science is. Whenever a new product is developed, ideally there are tests and determinations that must be made in terms of its safety. I can say that here in the United States, people are, there's a group of people who are skeptical about any vaccine. And so there is a danger to rushing a treatment like this out just for the sake of national pride before it's tested, and rushing something like this out. If other countries and companies follow suit, you could get a rush of vaccines out there that may not be effective for everyone, and which may be dangerous for some. So while Russia is racing to get this thing out, there is a potential danger to getting it out too quickly without going through the proper checks and balances. But this has already gone just over 20 minutes. So I'm going to stop here. Again, this article is going to be in the description box below, as is my blog post on what the regulatory sciences are, just for context and just for understanding that different countries register and approve these things differently. And in some instances, different countries have different standards for registering and approving these types of things. We are under some pretty unprecedented and adverse conditions right now, so there is a rush to get this out. But I think the important thing is to do it as safely and as wisely as possible. A lot of people want to see football reopen. I went to Michigan, which is a Big Ten school. They just canceled the season, and so there's a significant incentive to get a vaccine out, a working vaccine out right now. In any case, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.